Hello everybody and welcome back to LMM and my self-appointed exile here in Wales, taking a break from absolutely everything. And now, as the nights are starting to pull in, I really regret not packing some railway stuff to have a go with. But as any good rail enthusiast, I always carry an emergency backup. Yep, and as this is a serious channel and we never do anything daft, I'm going to review this railway in a tin from Apples and Pears that was bought for me as a Christmas present and ever since has lived in the back of my car as an emergency train set should I ever need one. And now, well, I feel like I need a train set, and let's see how terrible this thing is. So what is it that we actually have here? Well, this is a Great Rail Express, which is a gift in a tin. And as you can see from the logo on the front, it's going to be tacky and horrible because that's vaguely American based on somebody who saw a steam engine once and went, it looks kind of like that, and described it to somebody who was blind. The box itself is covered with all of these cute little illustrations of an railway stuff, like very basic depictions of an locomotive. It's kind of cute. Going on to the back, and we have all this fun information. Is made by a company called Apples and Pears, and it is apparently fast-track family entertainment with this battery-operated train set. I have literally no idea how this is going to be fast-track family entertainment, maybe some entertainment for one person. So I'm sure you're all dying to see what's inside the tin. Let's open it up, and that's not even instructions, and that's not it complete, that's just what's inside next door to what's inside. That's a really weird setup to show it in bits rather than this is how you assemble it. So what do we have? Well, we have this locomotive which somehow looks worse in real life than it does on the cover of the box. That is truly horrible tat. The rods are, I just don't know. It's meant to be a 6-wheel, but only 4 of these are actual wheels. Okay. Oh, but it does work. At a scale 2 million miles an hour, that is a very just horrible, tacky switch on the side. But okay, it's a kid's toy. We'll let that be. What else do we have? There's track, there's curves. We have many straights, actually, a surprising amount of straights. We look at you, the Apples to Pears railway coach. What's interesting though is these two all have flanges on them. They are actually, oh, and a caboose. We're definitely not British here, are we, with the caboose? But they do actually have flanges. So I have some respect for this because it looks like we're actually going to be running on the track, and that's kind of cool. That's actually genuinely quite cool. And then, oh, we actually have a genuine coal tender as well, which happily says coal on it, so we know that's what's in it. But it's nice to actually see and tender to go with a locomotive that's clearly a tender locomotive. Yeah, again, kudos for that. Then we got a station building. In fact, what else we got? Some crossing gates, more bits of straight, more bits of straight, more bits of straight. Platform, more bits of straight. A very, very thin good, right, and more platform and some more rubber bands and, oh, more track. There's a lot in this set.
With it all out of the tin, let's just roughly assemble it and see what it actually should look like.
So with it all roughly laid out, I'm genuinely impressed with the amount of track that there is, particularly how many straight sections there are. There's enough that the train isn't going to be constantly chasing its tail, and I think that's really cool. The disappointing fact is that because there are only 3 curves per side, it does rather limit what you can do as a setup. I imagine if I muck around with this, I could get this to be like a big triangle, but obviously this is the way it's meant to be set up, and there's not really any flexibility to change that around or do anything different with it. The highlight of it is the fact that although this stuff is absolutely tat and super light. It is actually running on flanges. So those little flanges, which are amazingly overscale, are actually running on the track here, and that's actually keeping it on. It's not like using the rails as bumpers to keep it going around and running on the flat. It is actually legitimately a railway. And that I think is good, because I was expecting this to be one of those like Tomy trains kind of level brio things where it's running in a recess or just on the outside and kind of bumps its way around. But this is legitimately train running on tracks, and that's kind of cool. The other really nice little touch is this little station here, the fact it is indeed and station. It's unnecessary, it doesn't need to be there, but it just breaks things up, as are the non-functioning wooden crossing gates and this. I don't understand why this is so thin. It makes absolutely no sense to have this van, which is just like, it can go inside. I don't understand. But it makes it vaguely more entertaining, and I guess that gives you your kind of play value to it, that you can actually, play with that as this goes around. Because as much as I'm impressed with this, and it does go hurtling along, there's absolutely no control. And that's the big thing I think this is missing, is there's no way to control it. It would be really nice if there was a switch somewhere you could press to stop it. You could remotely stop it in the station. I've seen it done on various things. There's either a little switch on the locomotive or a little thing that raises the wheels up when it comes into the station so you can control it. Because this is very much a hand round it, off it goes. And a closer look at this, well, it is absolutely about as basic as you can get when it comes to a locomotive. There is a chimney, a steam dome, and then presumably a sanding dome, but I bet whoever designed it had no idea. There's a cab with no windows, no back, and that's obviously where the motor is, because you can just make out the worm gear coming down from that. It's vaguely round for the boiler. There are some random bits of handrail which don't really work as handrails. Big old American lamp on the front, big old cowcatcher on the front, because of course it's American. It is only driven on the rear axle. These rods just fly around and do nothing. They don't actually drive the front wheels. But on the other hand, they are rods and make it look a bit more steam engine-y. This actually has a fair amount of weight to it, and it's fitted with traction tyres on the back, but no sprung buffers for those of you who like your sprung buffers. The coupling system is all fairly simple. It's just hook onto the back and go, which means that you can theoretically arrange these in whatever order you want. Although it gives me a certain amount of OCD to set it up like this, where it's obviously wrong. There is only one correct order. Obviously, you have to have the tender behind the locomotive, then the passenger car, because it's all American, so I'm going to call it a car, behind that, followed up by the caboose. Any other system is just illogical and will upset me. But this thing will just, off it runs. So that is more powerful than it needs to be, I think, for these, because these, I think if I throw one of these up into the air, it will just stay up there. It hasn't got enough mass to actually come back down. So that's about all I can go for this. It's just, there's a certain charm to this tatty. It's proper next level tat. And I think the biggest problem with this is it costs 15 quid, or in fact, actually it's £17 on some websites. And I just feel, I mean, I might really enjoy it when it runs, but if it was a tenner, I'd be like, yeah, go for it. It's a bit of a laugh. But almost £20, and if I go on to a well-known bidding auction website thing, I can buy myself a 00 gauge working electric train for £20. And I know this is a whole set, but I feel it's just a bit expensive for tat, because let's be honest, even if you're a kid, you're going to build this once. You're going to put it together once, and you're going to run it when it's new as a little present, and that will be it. And for me, I imagine once I've assembled it once, it will go back into the car as the emergency train set for the next time I need an emergency train set, but I don't feel like I'm going to get much play value. For assembly, the track all goes together relatively easy, like that. However, sometimes it doesn't go together. It just, there we go, floats a bit, which is really annoying. Sometimes it sorts itself out and sometimes it doesn't, and it's just really, really annoying. And I guess it is a poor quality Chinese piece of plastic, but
It is, though, pretty simple to put together and goes together pretty quickly, and soon I had a complete loop.
And now to assemble our train. Again, genuinely impressed that it is actually a railway vehicle and sits on top of the rails and doesn't just bounce around. Even if the guys who made this have absolutely no idea what scale is, it looks like a train set. It's just cheap and nasty. And so, the moment you've all been waiting for, the inaugural run. So there it goes, and this, unfortunately, is the absolute peak of operation, because I can do nothing more apart from hand of God it, reach across and go, you're going to stop now, and turn it off. There is no more control than that, and that is what is really missing from this to turn it into an actual train set. Again, if there was just something line-side here that I could just activate to stop it, I could at least stop it in the station. And I think certainly they are rather pushing the buck out a little bit to say family fun. I mean, passing interest for the family, maybe, and fun for one person for about 5 minutes, because there's literally nothing else I can do. However, I must say that despite the kind of janky nature of the track, this thing runs around remarkably well. It's not full enough, and I've been running it for a while. The battery appears to last basically forever, because it's been running for about an hour now, and it's just going. The size of the coach and the caboose it really infuriates me, that sense of scale being so very off. It's not a little bit off, it's just absolutely insultingly off. And I know that I'm being rather harsh on what is a toy, but it just really, really gets on my wick. It's so rubbish. I don't actually know what this gauge is. It looks close to TT. I'll have to get some of my TT stuff out and see if it will actually fit on this. And the biggest thing I've taken from this absolutely naff set is I want to install it onto a board, and I want to scenic it all up properly and turn it into a proper model railway so that it goes into a tunnel and part of it's hidden, and just do the rest of it to the best of my ability. Some really nice trees, properly done scenic area, and then just have this naff thing running around, because that would just amuse me intently. There's a certain kind of beauty in that. But for what it is, it's a train in a tin, and I don't know what you were expecting, if you were expecting anything better than this, and I frankly don't know what I was expecting. Have I been too harsh on it? Probably yes. Is it the kind of thing I normally review? No, but I have literally nothing else to do at the moment, and I'm going mad. There's only a certain amount of not doing stuff that I can do, and this actually, do you know what, if you're going somewhere and you just want a bit of train fun, this is great. In a tin, put it out, watch it trundle around. Hilarious, overpriced for what it is, because it is cheap and nasty, but it works. It is a proper railway, and frankly, I'm quite happy to have a little bit of trains running around whilst on holiday. Well, what's left of my holiday anyway. So there we go. Have I been too harsh on this, or have you enjoyed this little foray into a train set in a tin? Anyway, normal content should resume again next week when we're back to normal, hopefully, probably, and I'll be back from my break. So, with that, thank you all very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this, how about clicking over there for another model railway review, or down there for a review of something slightly bigger. With that, thank you all for watching, and of course to all of you, thank you so much for the support during this little break time. It means the absolute world to me that so many of you have got in touch and written lovely things in the comments. You're a wonderful community, guys. So, see you next time. Oh, and do you want more reviews on rubbish sets like this? Something I can do. Anyway, ta-ra.